Hello there, welcome to Algebra Lesson 8-3, Multiplying Binomials and Polynomials. You need a piece of paper in front of you. You can use the template that I gave you in class if you want it, or you can do this on a regular piece of paper. It doesn't matter. We're just going to do a few examples that will hopefully get you through the basic concept of what's happening here when we multiply polynomials. So, if you haven't written this down, copy this down. If you're using this template, copy it in the left-hand side and also in the middle. So we can use the middle for our work area and the left-hand side for the question area. Essentially what's happening here is we are multiplying, in this case, a binomial, the 2x plus 4, times the binomial 3x minus 7. The idea to keep here when you're doing this very well could be a trinomial, where you have 3 terms, versus a binomial or a trinomial and a trinomial. It doesn't really matter. The main thing that I want you to remember is this. You need to write this down, that what you have to do is multiply each term in the first binomial, or whatever the polynomial is, times every term in the second. Okay? So it's basically like the distributive property, except the whole binomial is being distributed over the second binomial. Okay, so every term in this binomial, the 2x plus 4, has to be multiplied by every term in the second one, and then you just combine your like terms. So it's really pretty simple. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 2x times 3x, and that would give me 6x squared. So we want to write that down underneath the problem. And then we're also going to multiply this term times the last term, the minus 7, which is 2x times negative 7, which is minus 14x. And then, since this term, the 2x, has multiplied by everything, I'm going to go to my next term, which is 4. I'm going to multiply that. 4 times 3x is 12x. And 4 times negative 7, I put a plus sign, but it's really negative. Plus negative is fine, is 28. Now, at this point, what you have to do is you have to look to combine like terms. Combine like terms if you have them. There are times when you might not have them, but we do have like terms right here. These two are like terms, 14x and 12, negative 14x and 12x. So 6x squared, that does not have a like term, so it's just 6x squared minus, because it's negative 14x plus 12 would be minus 2x, plus negative 28, I can just say is minus 28. And that is the product of those two binomials. And I would like you to add, this is a quadratic trinomial. I do want to practice naming them in the video here, and I'd like you to have that in your notes, though I do not believe it asks you to do that in many of the problems in the homework. You'll see when I see you in class next. So let's go to another problem, which is this one. So you can just do a dotted line. I just went to a new page so I have a little more space. Just do a dotted line from where you were, or a broken line, or something to separate that this is a different question. You don't have to rewrite this down because I already wrote it down. I just put that there for me to remind us what it is you're doing. Okay, so in this particular problem, you have x minus 3 times 4x minus 5. So copy it here in the middle, and let's start multiplying each term. X times 4x, 4x squared. Then x times minus 5 is minus 5x. And then we have minus 3 times 4x is minus 12x. And then we have minus 3 times minus 5. That's positive 15. Negative times negative is positive. Look for those like terms. Well, this one does not have a like term, but these two are alike, and the 15 does not have a like term. So we're going to add negative 5x plus negative 12. And we're just going to keep the 4x squared. Negative 5 plus negative 12, that's negative 17x. And then you got plus 15 there on the end. And we have our answer. This one is a quadratic, second degree, quadratic trinomial also. So there's a couple examples. Let's do a couple more here, and then that's all we're really going to look at. Here's another one that's a little fancier. Copy that down. We've got 5x squared minus 3 times 2x squared plus 1. Again, just multiply every term times every term. Okay, 5x squared times 2x squared. 5 times 2 is 10. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. That's a 10 there. Kind of ended up looking like a 16. That's 10x squared. I'm sorry, 10x to the 4th. 5x squared times 1. That's just 5x squared. Now down here we got negative 3 times 2. That's negative 6x squared. And then we have negative 3 times 1. That's just negative 3. Like terms right there. Those two are like terms. So we end up with 10x to the 4th plus we have 5 plus negative 6. That's negative 1x squared. Or you could just put minus x squared, minus 3, or plus negative 3 as well. This one is a 4th degree trinomial. Okay, so that's multiplying binomials. Now let's look at one more where I went ahead and put in a trinomial here just to kind of finish up the concept here of what's happening. And this one says multiply the first. In this case, it's a trinomial. You don't have to write this down, but it should be a trinomial times every term in the second binomial. So basically the idea is every term in this has to get multiplied by every term in that, and then you just combine your like terms. So let's do that. Let's keep our things, try to keep things organized here. I'm going to multiply those two first. 3x squared times 2x, that would be 6x to the 3rd, right? Squared times x, and then 3x times 7, that would be negative. It's negative 7. It's negative 21x squared. Now let's do the 2x here. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. I moved on to the 2x because the 3 got multiplied by everything there. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 7. 2x times negative 7 would be minus 14x. And then let's see, I have one more. I'm going to change, trying to think of how to make this so you can, gets a little messy here. I'm going to change to red here so you can see the 5 times 2. That would be plus 10x. I'm running out of room here. And then 5 times negative 7 is positive 35. Okay, hopefully you're able to get all that in there. It's going to bug me, so I can do this, but you can't. Hopefully you're able to squeeze it all in there. Okay, now we got to look for like terms. Okay, let me double check this to make sure I have it right. 6x cubed minus 21x squared plus 4x squared minus 14x plus 10x. This should be negative 10x, shouldn't it? 5 times, that's negative 10 right there. Sorry about that. It was negative 5 times 2 is negative 10x right there. Now let's look for our like terms. We have 6x cubed plus these two are like terms, so we need to combine those. Negative 21 plus 4 is negative 17 x squared. And then we have these two are like terms. You've got negative 14 plus negative 10, so that would be negative 24 x. And then you got plus 35 at the end. And I believe we have there, it's in standard form, exponents are 3, 2, 1, and degree 0 there. So this is a 3rd degree. Now since that has 4 terms, it has more than 3 terms, anything more than 3 terms, typically we just call it a polynomial. That would be its classification there. So that's the general idea, the main piece out of this particular section. So a nice easy one for you, just one video. Congratulations, enjoy it, and I just made it under 10 minutes. How about that?